Episode 1, The Empty Toy Box. Chase woke to a morning that felt all wrong. Sunlight spilled through his bedroom window in Toy Town, painting his blue walls with golden stripes, but the air was too quiet. No hum of Blaze the fire truck zooming across the carpet. No cheerful giggle from Mickey Mouse, his plush pal who always greeted him with a squeak. Chase rubbed his eyes and sat up, his messy brown hair sticking out like a bird's nest. Something was missing. He glanced at his toy box in the corner, its wooden lid shut tight. Usually, it overflowed with cars, blocks, and stuffed animals, but today, it looked too still, like it was holding its breath. He slid out of bed, his bare feet cold on the hardwood floor, and tiptoed to the toy box. Maybe Blaze was playing a trick again, hiding to jump out and scare him. Chase grinned at the thought. Blaze loved pranks, like the time he rolled under the couch and pretended to be lost for hours. Chase lifted the lid, expecting a burst of red plastic and a loud honk. But the box was empty. Not a single toy. No Blaze. No Mickey. Not even his old rubber dinosaur that always got stuck in the cracks. His stomach twisted, like when he forgot his lines in the school play. Blaze? Mickey? He called softly, his voice wobbling. No answer. The room stayed silent, except for the tick of his clock on the nightstand. Chase checked under the bed, behind the curtains, even inside his closet, where socks and comic books spilled out in a jumble. Nothing. His toys were gone. He sat on the floor, hugging his knees, trying to think. Toys didn't just vanish. Maybe Mom moved them to clean, but she always asked first. Maybe his little cousin borrowed them, but she lived 2 towns away. His heart thumped faster. This wasn't right. Then he noticed something odd. Under his pillow, a corner of paper stuck out, crinkled and yellow, like it came from an old notebook. He hadn't put it there. Chase crawled onto the bed and pulled it free, his fingers trembling. The paper was folded tight, with tiny words scratched in wobbly pencil. He squinted to read it. Look where the sun sleeps, Chase. Find us before the moon wakes. No name, no explanation. Just those words, looping in his head like a riddle. The sun sleeps? That could mean the backyard, where the sun set behind the big hill every night. But who wrote it? And why? Chase stuffed the note in his pajama pocket and ran to the window. His backyard stretched out below, all green grass and tangled bushes, with the hill glowing pink in the morning light. If his toys were out there, he'd find them. He yanked on his sneakers, not bothering with socks, and grabbed his favorite red cap from the chair. Halfway to the door, he paused. What if this was a game? Blaze and Mickey loved surprises. But deep down, he knew this felt different. Scarier. Like a secret he wasn't supposed to know. He hurried downstairs, skipping the creaky steps so Mom wouldn't hear. She was in the kitchen, humming and flipping pancakes, the smell of syrup sweet in the air. Chase slipped past and pushed open the back door. The summer breeze hit him, warm and full of grass and flowers. He stepped onto the porch, scanning the yard. The swing set stood lonely, its chains still. The sandbox was untouched, no toy trucks buried in it. Then, in the far corner, a bush rustled. Not a windy rustle, but a sneaky one, like something was hiding. Blaze? Chase whispered, creeping closer. His sneakers squished in the dew-soaked grass. The bush shook again, and a flash of red peeked through the leaves. Chase's heart leapt. He dropped to his knees and parted the branches. There was Blaze, his shiny fire truck, wedged between roots, his front wheel stuck in the dirt. Blaze's painted eyes blinked, and his bumper twisted into a frown. Chase! Oh, man, am I glad to see you. Blaze's voice was gruff but wobbly, like he'd been shouting for hours. I thought I'd be stuck here till Christmas. Chase yanked Blaze free, brushing dirt off his ladder. What happened? Where's Mickey? Where's everybody? He hugged Blaze tight, his plastic frame cool against Chase's cheek. Blaze coughed, spitting out a leaf. I don't know, kid. 1 minute, I'm parked by your bed, ready to race Mickey to the moon. Next thing, I'm here, stuck, and every toy's gone. Poof! Like they all took a vacation without me. He rolled back and forth, testing his wheels. Did you find anything weird? Like a clue? Chase pulled out the note, holding it so Blaze could see. This was under my pillow. It says to look where the sun sleeps. That's gotta be the hill, right? He pointed to the slope at the yard's edge, where wildflowers bobbed in the breeze. Blaze's siren flickered, his way of thinking hard. Maybe. Sounds like a puzzle. Toys don't just write notes, Chase. Someone's up to something big. He paused, his headlights narrowing. But Mickey's out there somewhere. We gotta find him. You with me? Chase nodded, his cap slipping over one eye. Always. But his tummy fluttered. Mickey was more than a toy. He was the one who cheered Chase up when he flunked a spelling test or when Dad was away for work. Losing him felt like losing a piece of himself. He set Blaze on the grass, and they started toward the hill, the note crinkling in Chase's pocket. The yard felt bigger now, full of shadows that danced in the morning light. Every rustle made Chase jump, like the bushes were whispering secrets. Halfway to the hill, Blaze stopped short. Wait a sec, he said, his voice low. You hear that? Chase froze, ears straining. A faint hum came from the hilltop, soft and sparkly, like a music box playing far away. It wasn't a song Chase knew, but it pulled at him, making his chest ache for no reason. He looked at Blaze, whose ladder rattled nervously. What is that? Chase asked, his voice barely a whisper. Blaze rolled closer, his tires crunching. Trouble, maybe. Or a clue. Only one way to find out. He nudged Chase's sneaker. Come on, detective. Let's climb that hill before the moon wakes up. Chase took a deep breath, the note's words echoing in his mind. Find us. He didn't know who left it or why, but he knew one thing, Mickey was waiting, and so were the other toys. The hill loomed ahead, its grass shimmering with dew, and that strange hum grew louder, calling them closer. Chase adjusted his cap and stepped forward, Blaze rolling at his side. Whatever was waiting up there, they'd face it together. But as they reached the hill's base, a shadow flickered at the top, quick and gone, like someone was watching. Episode 2, Mickey's Clue. Chase stood at the base of the hill, his sneakers sinking into the damp grass of his backyard in Toy Town. The strange hum from the hilltop buzzed in his ears, soft and twinkly, like a lullaby played on glass. Blaze, his red fire truck, rolled beside him, his tires crunching over twigs. That shadow they'd seen moments ago, quick and sneaky, was gone now, but it left Chase's skin prickling. He adjusted his red cap, squinting up at the hill where the morning sun painted the wildflowers gold. The note in his pocket, with its wobbly words about finding the toys before the moon woke, felt heavier than ever. Mickey Mouse was out there somewhere, and Chase wasn't going to stop until he found him. "Come on, Blaze," Chase said, starting up the slope. "That hum's gotta mean something." His voice sounded braver than he felt. The hill wasn't steep, but every step made his tummy flutter, like he was walking into a story he didn't know the ending to. Blaze's siren flickered as he bumped along. "Sure hope it's a clue and not some cranky lawnmower," he muttered. "Last time I followed a weird noise, I ended up stuck in your mom's flower bed for a week." Chase giggled, picturing Blaze buried in tulips, but the laugh faded fast. The hum grew louder, pulling them higher. At the top, the hill flattened into a grassy patch circled by daisies. The hum stopped, sharp as a snapped string, leaving only the chirp of crickets and the rustle of leaves. Chase spun around, expecting to see Mickey or at least a hint of where to go next. Nothing. Just grass and sky and the big oak tree in the park across the street, its branches swaying like they were waving hello. He frowned, patting his pocket where the note crinkled. "Maybe we missed something," he said, kicking a pebble. Blaze rolled to the edge of the hill, his headlights scanning the ground. "Hold up, Chase. Check this out." He nudged a pile of leaves, revealing a tangle of colorful kite strings, knotted and twisted like a spiderweb gone wrong. In the middle, caught tight, was a familiar plush shape, black ears, red shorts, and a big, worried smile. Mickey Mouse. "Mickey!" Chase dove to his knees, tugging at the strings. They were sticky and tough, clinging to his fingers like candy floss. Mickey's cottontail twitched, and his button eyes blinked up at Chase. "Oh, gosh, Chase!" Mickey's voice was high and squeaky, but it warmed Chase's heart like a hug. "I thought I'd be a kite forever. Got all tangled up last night, and then, well, everything went topsy-turvy." Chase worked faster, unraveling the knots while Blaze guarded the pile, his ladder rattling nervously. "What happened, Mickey?" Chase asked, freeing one of Mickey's arms. "All the toys are gone. I found a note, but it doesn't make sense." Mickey wriggled as the last string fell away, flopping onto the grass with a soft thump. "Golly, it's a long story," he said, brushing dust off his gloves. "I was in your room, counting stars out the window, when I saw a funny light. All glowy and shimmery, coming from the toy shop downtown. Next thing I know, I'm out here, stuck, and every toy's vanished. I think that light's got something to do with it." Blaze spun his wheels, kicking up dirt. "The toy shop. That place is creepier than a haunted toolbox." "You sure, Mickey?" Mickey nodded, his ears flopping. "Sure as sunshine, Blaze. That light wasn't normal. It felt magic." He looked at Chase, his smile wobbling. "We gotta check it out, Chase. For the other toys." Chase's chest tightened. The toy shop was his favorite place in Toy Town, with its jingly bell and shelves stuffed with dolls and trains. But at night, its windows looked dark and sleepy, like they hid secrets. Still, if Mickey saw something there, it was their best clue. He helped Mickey stand, brushing grass off his shorts. "Okay," Chase said, nodding. "To the toy shop. But we stick together, no matter what." Blaze revved his engine, a tiny puff of imaginary smoke curling up. "That's the spirit. Let's roll before that moon wakes up and makes things weirder." He led the way down the hill, Mickey hopping beside him, and Chase trailing behind, the note burning a hole in his pocket. The park stretched across the street, its swings creaking in the breeze, and beyond it, Toy Town Square waited, where the toy shop sat nestled between the bakery and the library. The walk felt longer than usual. Every shadow made Chase jump, and every bird chirp sounded like a whisper. Mickey hummed a little tune to keep them cheerful, but even his song couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching. At the park's edge, they crossed the cobblestone path to the square. The toy shop loomed ahead, its red sign faded but friendly, reading, "Tinker's Toys," in loopy letters. The windows sparkled in the sunlight, but the door was shut tight, a brass lock glinting like an eye. Chase tried the handle. Locked. He pressed his nose to the glass, cupping his hands to see inside. Shelves lined the walls, but they were empty, not a single teddy bear or puzzle in sight. His breath fogged the window. "It's empty," he whispered, stepping back. "Just like my toy box." Mickey tapped his chin, thinking. "Gosh, that's funny. The light I saw was right in there, by the counter. Maybe there's another way in." He hopped to the side of the shop, where Ivy climbed the bricks, searching for a clue. Blaze rolled up to Chase, his bumper nudging his sneaker. "You okay, kid? You look like you saw a ghost." His voice was gruff but kind, the way it got when Chase was scared. Chase swallowed, his throat dry. "What if we're too late, Blaze? What if the toys are gone for good?" Saying it out loud made his eyes sting, but he blinked hard, not wanting to cry. Blaze's headlights softened. "Hey, none of that. We got Mickey back, didn't we? And we've got that goofy note. We're detectives now, Chase. Detectives don't give up." He spun a wheel, pointing at the shop. "Let's find a way in and figure out what that light was." Chase nodded, wiping his nose on his sleeve. Blaze was right. They had a clue, and clues led to answers. He joined Mickey by the ivy, where his plush friend was tugging at a loose brick. "Look, Chase," Mickey said, pointing. Behind the brick, a tiny keyhole winked in the sunlight, barely big enough for a paperclip. "Bet there's a secret door here." Chase knelt, peering at the keyhole. It was too small for any key he'd ever seen, but it proved Mickey's story. Something strange was happening in the toy shop. He stood, brushing dirt off his knees, and looked at his friends. "We need to get inside," he said, his voice steadier now. "Maybe the note's about this place, not just the hill." Blaze revved again, circling the shop. "Then we keep looking. Secret doors don't stay secret forever." He zoomed toward the back alley, Mickey bouncing after him, and Chase followed, his cap tilted back. The alley was narrow, smelling of damp wood and fresh paint, with crates stacked against the shop's wall. Chase's heart raced. They were close to something, he could feel it, like when he was one piece away from finishing a puzzle. But as they rounded the corner, a soft clatter echoed behind them, like marbles spilling on stone. Chase froze, his breath catching. He turned slowly, scanning the alley. The crates were still, the ivy quiet, but high above, in the toy shop's second-floor window, a curtain twitched. Just a flutter, then nothing. Mickey grabbed Chase's hand, his cotton fingers trembling. Blaze's engine growled low. "Someone's in there," Chase whispered, his eyes locked on the window. The curtain stayed still, but the air felt heavy now, full of secrets waiting to spill. Episode 3, The Toymaker's Secret. Chase stood frozen in the narrow alley behind Tinker's Toys, his heart thumping like a drum. The curtain in the toy shop's upstairs window hung still now, but he couldn't shake the feeling that eyes were watching from behind it. Mickey Mouse clung to his hand, his plush fingers soft but trembling. Blaze, the fire truck, idled close by, his engine humming low, like a cat ready to pounce. The summer air in Toy Town felt thick, scented with damp wood and the faint sweetness of ivy curling up the shop's brick wall. Chase's red cap slipped over one eye as he stared at the window, waiting for another twitch. Nothing moved, but the silence was louder than any noise. "Chase, you okay?" Mickey whispered, his voice high and wobbly. His black ears twitched, catching the breeze. "That curtain gave me the heebie-jeebies." Blaze rolled forward, his tires crunching on loose gravel. "Heebie-jeebies?" "It's probably just a drafty old shop playing tricks." But his headlights flickered, betraying his bravado. "Still, we gotta get in there, Chase." "That glowy light Mickey saw? Bet it's the key to finding the toys." Chase nodded, swallowing hard. The note in his pajama pocket, with its riddle about the sun sleeping and the moon waking, seemed to whisper that the toy shop held answers. His toy box was empty, the shop's shelves were bare, and Mickey's story about a shimmery light felt like their only clue. He stepped toward the wall where Mickey had found the tiny keyhole behind a loose brick. It was still there, winking in the sunlight, too small for any normal key. "Maybe there's a back door," Chase said, his voice steadier than his knees. "We need to look closer." Mickey hopped forward, his red shorts bouncing. "Gosh, good idea. Let's check the crates." He scurried to the stack of wooden boxes in the alley, sniffing around like a puppy. Blaze zoomed after him, muttering about splinters, while Chase ran his hands along the bricks, searching for anything odd. The wall was cool and rough, but every brick felt solid, no more secrets hiding. His fingers brushed the ivy, and a leaf fluttered down, landing on his sneaker. He sighed, glancing at his friends. Mickey was tugging at a crate's lid, his gloves slipping. "Oof! These are stuck tighter than a pickle jar," he huffed, flopping onto the ground. Blaze nudged the crate, but it didn't budge. Chase knelt beside them, brushing dirt off his knees. "Let's try pushing instead of pulling," he suggested, remembering how he once moved a heavy chair with Dad. Together, they shoved the top crate, grunting until it slid aside with a scrape. Underneath, a rusty metal grate lay flush with the ground, its bars crisscrossing like a puzzle. Chase's eyes widened. "Whoa! That's not normal." Blaze's siren chirped. "No kidding. Looks like a secret hatch. Bet it leads right into the shop." He rolled over the grate, testing it. It clanged softly but didn't open. Locked. Figures. Mickey peered at the grate, his nose twitching. "Golly, maybe that tiny keyhole's for this. But we don't have a key." He looked at Chase, his button eyes hopeful. "Got any ideas, Chase?" Chase bit his lip, thinking. The note, the light, the keyhole, the grate, it all felt connected, like pieces of a game he hadn't learned the rules for. He sat back, the gravel poking through his pajamas. "Let's try the front again," he said finally. "Maybe we missed something by the door." He didn't want to admit he was nervous about the grate. It looked dark and deep, like it could swallow them whole. They circled back to the shop's front, the cobblestone path clicking under Chase's sneakers. The square was quiet, the bakery's windows dark and the library's flag flapping lazily. Tinker's Toys loomed ahead, its red sign cheerful but eerie without toys in the windows. Chase tried the door again, rattling the handle. Still locked. He cupped his hands against the glass, peering inside. The counter was bare, the floor dusty, but something caught his eye, a faint sparkle, like a firefly, flickering near the back wall. "Did you see that?" Chase whispered, his breath fogging the window. Mickey and Blaze crowded close, squinting. "See what?" Blaze asked, his ladder tilting. "All I see is dust bunnies bigger than me." Mickey gasped, pointing a glove. "There! It's the light I saw last night. It's back." The sparkle pulsed, then vanished, leaving the shop dim again. Chase's heart raced. That light was real, and it wanted them to notice. "We have to get in," Chase said, banging his fist on the door. It rattled but held firm. He stepped back, scanning the shop's front. Above the door, a small vent caught the sunlight, its slats just wide enough for a toy to squeeze through. "Blaze, think you can fit up there?" Blaze revved, puffing out his chest. "Fit? Kid, I could race through a straw. Gimme a boost." Chase climbed onto a bench nearby, lifting Blaze to the vent. The fire truck wiggled, his wheels spinning, and with a pop, he tumbled inside, landing with a muffled thump. "Ow! Okay, I'm in," Blaze called, his voice echoing. "Hang tight." Chase and Mickey waited, the seconds stretching like taffy. Finally, the door clicked, and Blaze's headlights glowed from inside. "Come on, detectives. Doors open." Chase pushed the door, the bell jingling softly. The shop smelled of wood polish and old paper, and the air felt cool, like a cave. Shelves towered around them, empty and silent, but the back wall shimmered faintly, like it remembered the light. Mickey clutched Chase's hand, his ears drooping. "This place feels funny," he whispered. "Like it's watching us." Chase nodded, his sneakers squeaking on the floor. He led the way to the counter, where a trapdoor lay hidden under a rug, its edges barely visible. He knelt, tracing the wood. "Blaze, help me lift this." Together, they tugged the rug aside and pried the trapdoor open, revealing a staircase spiraling down into darkness. A soft giggle echoed up, high and tinkly, then stopped. "What was that?" Blaze asked, his tires squeaking as he backed up. Chase's mouth went dry, but before he could answer, a tiny figure stepped from the shadows below. It was a porcelain doll, no taller than Mickey, with curly hair and a blue dress. Her painted eyes blinked slowly. "You're Chase," she said, her voice like a bell. "I'm Ellie. The Toy Council sent me. The toys didn't run away. They're hiding, and they want you to find them." She paused, clutching her dress. "But you have to hurry. The moon's waking soon." Chase stared, his head spinning. "Toy Council? Hiding?" He opened his mouth to ask, but Ellie pointed to the trapdoor. "Down there's a map," she whispered, glancing nervously at the stairs. "But it's tricky. Not everything's what it seems." She stepped back, fading into the dark. Mickey shivered, hugging himself. "Gosh, a map sounds neat, but that giggle? Not so much." Blaze rolled closer to Chase, his engine rumbling. "Tricky or not, we're finding that map," Chase said, gripping the note in his pocket. The trapdoor gaped like a mouth, and the giggle lingered in his ears, soft but sneaky. He took a step toward the stairs, his shadow stretching long behind him. Something told him the shop held more secrets than Ellie was saying, and they were waiting in the dark below. Thank you for listening to this incredible story. Our team would really appreciate it if you give us a like and comment. Your opinion is very important to us. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed. See you soon. Episode 4, The Oak Tree Riddle. Chase stood at the edge of the trapdoor in Tinker's Toys, the cool air of the shop swirling around his ankles. The staircase below spiraled into shadows, and that faint, tinkly giggle still echoed in his ears, like a secret hiding just out of reach. Mickey Mouse clutched his hand, his plush ears trembling, while Blaze, the fire truck, rolled close, his headlights casting wobbly beams into the dark. Ellie, the porcelain doll, had vanished after her cryptic words about a toy council and a tricky map, leaving Chase's head buzzing with questions. Why were the toys hiding? And what did the moon waking have to do with it? The note in his pajama pocket, with its riddle about the sun sleeping, felt like a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit. "Chase, you sure about this?" Mickey asked, his voice squeaky and small. His button eyes flicked to the stairs. That giggle didn't sound very friendly. Blaze revved his engine, puffing out a tiny cloud of imaginary smoke. "Friendly or not, we're not turning back now. Ellie said there's a map down there, and I'm not letting some spooky laugh scare me off." His ladder rattled, betraying a hint of nerves. Chase took a deep breath, the shop's woody scent filling his lungs. Ellie's warning about things not being what they seemed made his tummy twist, but Mickey and Blaze were counting on him. So were the missing toys. He adjusted his red cap and nodded. "Let's go." Together. He stepped onto the first stair, the wood creaking under his sneaker. Mickey hopped after him, clutching his shorts, and Blaze rolled carefully, his tires thumping each step. The staircase wound deeper than Chase expected, the air growing chilly and damp, like a basement after rain. The walls were lined with old shelves, stacked with dusty boxes that smelled of cardboard and secrets. Chase's flashlight, grabbed from his room before they left, flickered, painting shadows that danced like ghosts. He shivered, wishing he'd worn socks. At the bottom, the stairs opened into a small room, its floor covered in mismatched rugs. A single lantern hung from the ceiling, glowing soft orange, and in the center sat a wooden table. On it lay a rolled-up parchment, tied with a red ribbon. "The map," Chase whispered, rushing forward. His fingers fumbled with the ribbon, and the parchment unrolled with a crinkle. It showed Toy Town, drawn in swirly ink, the park, the library, the hill behind his house. But instead of streets, dotted lines wove between places, looping around one spot, the big oak tree in the park. A tiny star marked it, with words too small to read without squinting. Mickey leaned close, his nose twitching. "Gosh, that's the oak tree. The one with the twisty branches." He bounced, excited, but then froze. "Wait. Did Ellie say the map was tricky?" Blaze circled the table, his headlights scanning the parchment. "Tricky, schmicky. It's pointing us to the park. Let's roll before that giggle comes back." He nudged Chase's sneaker, eager to move. Chase traced the star with his finger, the tiny words coming into focus. "Follow the roots to find what's lost," he read aloud. His heart skipped. Roots? That sounded like digging, and digging meant answers. But Ellie's warning stuck in his mind. He rolled the map carefully, tucking it under his arm. "The oak tree's our next stop," he said, trying to sound brave. "But we gotta be careful." They climbed back up, the trapdoor thudding shut behind them. The shop was quiet now, no giggles or twinkly lights, but the empty shelves felt heavier, like they were watching. Chase led the way out, the bell jingling as they slipped into the sunny square. Toy Town sparkled under the morning sky, kids riding bikes and dogs chasing balls, but Chase barely noticed. The park was just across the street, the oak tree's branches waving like an old friend. The park smelled of cut grass and warm dirt, and the oak tree stood tall, its trunk wide enough to hide behind. Its leaves rustled, whispering secrets in the breeze. Chase knelt at the base, running his hands over the gnarled roots that twisted into the ground like giant fingers. The map said follow the roots, he murmured, digging with his fingers. The dirt was soft, crumbling away to reveal nothing. Just more dirt. Blaze spun his wheels, kicking up dust. This is it. A big fat zero? Come on, map, give us something. He bumped a root, frustrated. Mickey sat cross-legged, picking at a clover. Maybe we're missing a clue, Chase. Like a riddle or a sign. His voice was hopeful, but his ears drooped. Chase sat back, wiping sweat off his forehead. His cap slipped, and as he fixed it, a chittering sound made him jump. Above, in the branches, a squirrel perched, its tail flicking like a flag. Its eyes glinted, not scared at all, and it dropped something small that landed with a thud in the grass. A walnut, cracked open, with a folded paper inside. Whoa, Chase breathed, grabbing it. The paper was tiny, scribbled with neat, loopy words. Listen to this, what's forgotten lies below, where shadows dance and memories grow. Speak my name to set it free, then dig beneath the oldest tree. He looked up, but the squirrel was gone, scampering into the leaves. Blaze's siren chirped. A riddle? Now we're talking. But what's that about a name? He rolled around the trunk, thinking hard. Mickey clapped his gloves, bouncing. Golly, maybe the tree has a name. Like, Okie or Treva. He giggled, but Chase frowned, the riddle spinning in his head. Forgotten things, shadows, memories, it sounded like the toys, but the name part stumped him. Chase stood, brushing dirt off his knees. Let's try saying stuff. Maybe it's a password. He cleared his throat, feeling silly. Oak tree? Old tree? Nothing happened. Mickey tried Shady and Grandpa, but the roots stayed still. Blaze shouted Big Wood, making them laugh, but the air didn't change. Then Chase remembered something Dad said once, about the park's oak being called Whisper because it creaked like it was telling stories. Whisper, he said softly. A low hum vibrated through the ground, like the tree was waking up. The roots shifted, just a little, revealing a patch of loose dirt that sparkled faintly, like it held a secret. It worked! Mickey squealed, hugging Chase's leg. Chase dug again, faster now, his fingers scraping until they hit something hard. A metal box, no bigger than a book, with a rusty lock shaped like a star. He pulled it free, his hands shaking. The box felt warm, almost alive, and the lock clicked as he touched it, springing open. Inside was a small, silver key, etched with a tiny acorn. Blaze whistled, his ladder rattling. That's gotta be for something big. Nice work, Chase. But before Chase could answer, a twig snapped behind them. He spun, clutching the key. The park was empty, swings swaying gently, but a shadow flickered near the slide, quick and gone, like someone didn't want to be seen. Mickey gulped, scooting closer. Chase, I don't like this. Someone's following us. His voice was barely a whisper. Chase gripped the key, his heart pounding. The riddle, the key, the shadow, it was all connected, but how? The oak tree loomed above, its branches creaking, and the key felt heavy in his hand, promising answers but hiding new questions. Whoever was watching knew more than they did, and they weren't far behind. Episode 5, The Yo-Yo Trickster. Chase crouched beneath the Whisper Oak Tree in Toy Town's park, the silver key cool against his palm. Its tiny acorn etching glinted in the sunlight, promising secrets, but the shadow he'd seen by the slide left his stomach knotted. Someone was watching, slipping through the park like a whisper, and it made the summer breeze feel chilly. Mickey Mouse huddled close, his plush ears twitching, while Blaze, the fire truck, rolled back and forth, his headlights scanning the empty swings and slide. The riddle's words, about forgotten things lying below, looped in Chase's head, but the key felt like the real clue. Where did it fit? And who didn't want them to find out? Chase, maybe we should go, Mickey said, his voice squeaky and small. His button eyes darted to the slide, where the shadow had vanished. That creepy shadow's giving me goosebumps. Blaze revved his engine, kicking up a puff of dirt. Goosebumps? Come on, Mickey, it's probably just a squirrel with sneaky paws. We've got a key now, Chase. Let's figure out what it opens. His ladder rattled, but he stayed close, like he wasn't so sure about squirrels. Chase stood, brushing grass off his pajamas. His red cap tilted as he slipped the key into his pocket, next to the crinkly note about the sun sleeping. The oak tree's branches creaked above, like it was saying goodbye, and the park felt too quiet, like it was holding its breath. We need to keep moving, he said, trying to sound brave. The map pointed us here, and the key's gotta lead somewhere. Maybe back to the toy shop. Mickey nodded, hopping up. Gosh, maybe that tiny keyhole by the crates. It looked just the right size. His smile wobbled, but he grabbed Chase's hand, ready to go. Blaze zoomed ahead, his tires bouncing over roots. Toy shop it is. Let's roll before that shadow plays hide and seek again. He led the way out of the park, across the cobblestone path to the town square. Chase followed, Mickey bouncing beside him, but every rustle made him glance back. The slide stayed empty, the swings still, but his neck prickled, like eyes were hiding in the leaves. The square was livelier now, with kids licking ice cream and a dog chasing a frisbee. Tinker's Toys stood at the corner, its red sign cheerful but quiet. Chase slowed, scanning the alley where they'd found the grate. Before he could step closer, a sharp whir cut the air, and something bright spun past his nose, landing with a thwack on a crate. A yo-yo, neon green and buzzing like a bee, its string taut and twitching. Whoa! Chase jumped back, bumping into Mickey. Blaze skidded to a stop, his siren chirping. The yo-yo snapped back, vanishing into the air, and a laugh rang out, high and tricky. From behind a crate stepped a toy no bigger than Blaze, a shiny yo-yo with googly eyes and a grin that curled like a crescent moon. Gotcha, it said, spinning in place. Name's YOLO. You're the kid poking around, huh? Chase, right? Chase blinked, his heart still racing. How do you know my name? He clutched the key in his pocket, not sure if YOLO was friend or trouble. YOLO twirled, his string looping fancy knots. Oh, I hear things. Toys talk, kid. Words out you're hunting for the missing ones. Found a key, too, didn't ya? His eyes wobbled, glinting with mischief. Mickey stepped forward, puffing out his chest. Golly, That's our business. Are you with the toy council Ellie mentioned? His gloves balled into tiny fists, but his voice shook. Yolo laughed, spinning faster. Toy council? Fancy name for a bunch of stuffy dolls. Nah, I'm a free spinner. But I know a thing or two about your little quest. He zipped close, his string brushing Chase's sneaker. Wanna hear a riddle? Answer right, and I'll help. Answer wrong, and I'll keep buzzing till you're dizzy. Blaze growled, his tires spinning. We don't need your games, Yo-Yo. Step aside, or I'll roll right over ya. He inched forward, but Yolo dodged, looping around a lamppost. Chase held up a hand, stopping Blaze. Yolo was annoying, but he knew too much. Maybe his riddle was a clue. Okay, Yolo, Chase said, squaring his shoulders. What's the riddle? Yolo slowed, his grin widening. Nice choice, kid. Here goes, I'm always spinning, never still, I'm lost when you forget the thrill. What am I? He rocked back and forth, waiting. Chase frowned, thinking hard. Spinning, never still, it sounded like Yolo himself, but that was too easy. Mickey whispered, maybe a top, but shook his head, unsure. Blaze muttered, sounds like my wheels when I'm bored. Chase's mind raced, picturing his toys, cars, blocks, Mickey's dance moves. Then it hit him. The thrill, the forgetting, it wasn't just a toy. It was playtime, the fun that faded when he ignored his toys for video games or TV. Playtime, Chase said, his voice steady. That's the answer. Yolo froze, his string drooping. For a second, his grin faltered, but then he laughed, softer now. Not bad, Chase. Most kids guess wrong. He rolled closer, his eyes less tricky. All right, I'm in. You're looking for the toys, and that key's your ticket. But it's not for the shop. It's for something older. Follow me. Chase exchanged looks with Mickey and Blaze. Mickey's ears perked, hopeful, but Blaze's headlights narrowed. You trust this guy? Blaze whispered. He's slipperier than a wet hose. Chase shrugged, unsure. Yolo knew things, and they needed help. Let's see where he takes us, he said quietly. But we watch him. He turned to Yolo, who was spinning lazy loops. Lead the way. Yolo zipped down the alley, past the crates, toward the park again. Keep up, detectives, he called, his voice bouncing off the bricks. Chase ran after him, Mickey hopping and Blaze rumbling behind. The park's grass sparkled with dew, and Yolo stopped near a stone bench, where ivy curled like a frame. He tapped the bench with his string, and a faint click echoed. A panel slid open, revealing a dusty box with a lock shaped like an acorn. The key, Chase breathed, pulling it from his pocket. It fit perfectly, turning with a soft clunk. The box opened, revealing a folded cloth, embroidered with stars and words too faded to read. Chase lifted it, his fingers tingling. It felt important, like it held a piece of Toy Town's heart. Yolo leaned close, his voice low. That's no ordinary cloth. It points to the next clue, but only if you listen. He paused, his eyes glinting. And watch your back. Not every toy wants you to win. Before Chase could ask what he meant, a rustle came from the bushes, sharp and close. Mickey squeaked, grabbing Blaze's ladder. Chase spun, the cloth tight in his hands. The park was still, but a pair of shiny eyes blinked from the leaves, then vanished. Yolo's grin flickered, and for the first time, he looked nervous. Whoever was following them was getting bolder, and they knew about the cloth. Episode 6, The Library's Whisper. Chase stood frozen in Toy Town's park, the embroidered cloth clutched tight in his hands. Its faded stars seemed to shimmer under the sunlight, but those shiny eyes in the bushes made his heart race. They'd blinked once, bright and curious, then vanished, leaving only a rustle of leaves. Mickey Mouse hugged Blaze's ladder, his plush ears trembling, while Blaze, the fire truck, spun his wheels, glaring at the bushes. Yolo, the neon green yo-yo, rocked nervously, his string limp for once. The summer air felt heavy, like it was waiting for something to happen. Chase's red cap slipped as he scanned the park, the swings creaking softly, but no one appeared. Whoever was following them was close, and they knew about the cloth. "Chase, let's skedaddle," Mickey whispered, his voice squeaky with worry. Those eyes weren't friendly, gosh. Blaze revved, his headlights flashing. "Friendly or not, I'm ready to roll over anything that pops out." "What's with that cloth, Chase?" "Yolo said it's a clue, so spill." His bumper nudged Chase's sneaker, impatient. Yolo spun slowly, his googly eyes darting to the bushes. "Yeah, kid, unfold it." "But maybe not here." "Eyes everywhere, you know." His usual grin was gone, replaced by a twitchy frown. Chase nodded, his fingers tingling where they touched the cloth. The note in his pocket, about the sun sleeping, and the key from the oak tree felt like pieces of the same puzzle, and this cloth was another. He glanced at the bushes, half expecting the eyes to blink again, then knelt by the stone bench. "Okay, but we stay close," he said, his voice low. He spread the cloth on the grass, its edges curling like old paper. The stars formed a pattern, circling words so faded they were barely there. Chase squinted, tracing them with his finger. "It says, 'Words hold power where stories sleep.'" Mickey tilted his head, his gloves tapping his chin. "Stories sleep? Golly, that sounds like the library. All those books snoozing on shelves." His ears perked, but he glanced nervously at the bushes. Blaze's siren chirped. "The library? That dusty place? Bet it's full of cobwebs, not clues. But if the cloth says so, let's check it out." He rolled toward the park's exit, eager to move. Chase folded the cloth, tucking it under his arm. The library was just across the square, its big windows gleaming like friendly eyes. He'd spent rainy days there, flipping through picture books, but now it felt different, like it held secrets bigger than stories. "To the library," he said, standing. "But we watch for those eyes, okay?" Yolo zipped ahead, his string looping fancy knots. "Smart kid. Libraries are sneaky. All those pages whispering stuff. Stick with me, and we'll sniff out that clue." He sounded cheerful, but his eyes kept flicking to the shadows. They crossed the park, the grass soft under Chase's sneakers. The square buzzed with kids on scooters and a lady walking her poodle, but Chase's neck prickled, like someone was still watching. The library loomed ahead, its stone steps wide and welcoming, with ivy curling up its walls. The double doors were propped open, letting out a whiff of paper and polish. Chase led the way, Mickey hopping beside him, Blaze rumbling, and Yolo spinning loops that caught the light. Inside, the library was cool and quiet, sunlight streaming through tall windows to paint the wooden floor in golden patches. Shelves stretched to the ceiling, stuffed with books of every color. A librarian hummed behind the desk, but no kids were around, just rows of silent stories. Chase clutched the cloth, scanning for anything odd. "Where do we start?" he whispered, his voice echoing. Mickey pointed to a corner where a big book sat alone on a pedestal, its cover carved with stars like the cloths. "Gosh, look at that! It's all sparkly." He bounced over, his shorts flapping. Chase followed, his heart skipping. The book was huge, its pages yellowed and thick. He ran his fingers over the cover, feeling tiny bumps, like hidden words. "This has to be it," he said, glancing at Yolo. "Right?" Yolo nodded, his string twitching. "Open it, kid. But careful. Old books bite sometimes." He winked, but his voice was tight. Chase lifted the cover, and a soft glow spilled out, like moonlight trapped in the pages. The words inside moved, wiggling like tadpoles, then settled into a sentence: "Speak what you seek to find the way." Before Chase could read more, the shelf beside them creaked, and a book tumbled, landing with a thud. Then another. And another. Soon, books were slipping off shelves, piling around them like a fort. "Oh," Blaze muttered, backing up. His tires squeaked as a dictionary flopped nearby. "This ain't normal." Mickey squealed, ducking behind Chase. "Chase, the books are alive." He peeked out, his ears trembling. Chase's mouth went dry, but he clutched the cloth, remembering the book's words. "Speak what you seek." "We're looking for the toys," he said loudly, his voice shaking. "Show us the way." The books froze, then parted, revealing a hidden nook behind the shelf. A dusty table sat there, holding a single book with a lock shaped like an acorn. Chase's breath caught. The key. But as he stepped forward, a whispery voice filled the air, soft as wind but sharp as glass. "You take too much for granted, Chase," it said. "Toys wait for love, not just play." Chase spun, looking for the voice, but the library was empty, the librarian gone from her desk. Mickey shivered, grabbing his arm. "Golly, who said that?" he squeaked. Yolo spun faster, his eyes wide. "Just the library talking. Old places do that. Keep going, kid." But his string trembled, like he wasn't so sure. Chase pulled the key from his pocket, his hands shaky. The lock clicked open, and the book's pages flipped on their own, stopping at a drawing of a backyard with twisty paths. Words glowed beneath it: "Find the maze where shadows play." But before Chase could read more, Blaze yelped, his ladder caught in a bookcase that was sliding shut, trapping him inside. "Chase! Help!" Blaze shouted, his engine roaring as he pushed against the wood. Books tumbled, dust swirling like fog. Mickey tugged at the shelf, his gloves slipping. "Oh no, Blaze! Hold on!" He looked at Chase, his eyes huge. "What do we do?" Chase's heart pounded. The voice, the maze, Blaze trapped. It was all happening too fast. He shoved the book under his arm, grabbing the shelf with Mickey. "Pull!" he yelled, his sneakers skidding. The case groaned, inching open, but behind them, a soft chuckle echoed, not from the books but from the doorway. Chase glanced back, his breath hitching. A shadow slipped past the library's entrance, quick and sly, leaving only the jingle of the door's bell. Episode 7, The Backyard Maze. Chase pulled at the bookcase with all his strength, his sneakers slipping on the library's polished floor in Toy Town. Dust swirled around him, tickling his nose, as the heavy shelf groaned, inching open. Mickey Mouse tugged beside him, his plush gloves sliding, while Blaze's panicked shouts echoed from inside the trapped nook. The book with the glowing maze drawing was tucked under Chase's arm, its words about shadows playing still buzzing in his head. But that chuckle from the doorway, sly and fleeting, made his skin prickle. Someone had been there, slipping out with the jingle of the library's bell, and Chase couldn't shake the feeling they were being toyed with. "Chase, it's moving!" Mickey squeaked, his ears flopping as he yanked harder. "Gosh, Blaze, don't worry, we're coming." Blaze's engine roared, muffled by wood. "Hurry, you two! This place is tighter than a toy box at Christmas." His ladder rattled, banging against the shelf. YOLO, the neon yo-yo, spun nearby, his string looping nervously. "Keep pulling, kid. Libraries don't trap toys for fun. Something's up." His googly eyes darted to the doorway, where sunlight spilled in, empty now but heavy with secrets. Chase gritted his teeth, his arms burning. The bookcase slid another inch, then popped open with a creak, spilling books onto the floor. Blaze tumbled out, his red paint dusty but his headlights blazing. "Phew! Thought I was a goner," he huffed, shaking off a stray page. "What's with this place?" First whispering voices, now killer shelves. Chase knelt, brushing dust off Blaze. "I don't know, but we've got this." He held up the book, its maze drawing catching the light. "It says to find a maze in a backyard. That's our next clue." His voice shook a little, thinking of the shadow that fled. Whoever it was, they knew about the book. Mickey hugged himself, glancing at the door. "A maze sounds twisty, Chase. And that chuckle? It wasn't nice." His shorts sagged, like his courage was slipping. YOLO zipped close, his grin half-hearted. "Twisty's my style, Mickey. But yeah, someone's playing games. That book's pointing you somewhere real. I know a backyard nearby, all hedgy and weird. Wanna check it?" His string twitched, like he wasn't sure he wanted to go. Chase nodded, his red cap tilting. The library felt too big now, its shelves looming like they might snap shut again. "Let's move," he said, tucking the book tighter. "But we stick together." He led the way out, the bell jingling as they stepped into the square. Toy Town sparkled under the noon sun, kids laughing and kites soaring, but Chase's neck prickled, like eyes were still on them. YOLO took the lead, spinning down a side street past the bakery, where cinnamon rolls scented the air. "This way," he called, dodging a puddle. Chase followed, Mickey hopping and Blaze rumbling, his tires kicking up pebbles. The street curved into a quiet neighborhood, where houses had wide lawns and flower beds bursting with color. YOLO stopped at a rickety gate, its paint chipped but cheerful. Beyond it, a backyard stretched, overgrown with tall hedges that twisted into a green, leafy maze. "Whoa," Chase breathed, pushing the gate. It creaked open, revealing paths that curled like a snail's shell, disappearing into shadows. The air smelled of mint and earth, and a soft hum, like the one from the hill, tickled his ears. Blaze rolled forward, his siren chirping. "A maze, huh? Bet I could race through this in 10 seconds flat." He zoomed ahead, then stopped short as the path split 3 ways. Okay, maybe 20 seconds. Mickey giggled, his ears perking. "Golly, it's like a puzzle." "Which way, Chase?" He bounced, but his eyes flicked to the hedges, like he expected something to jump out. Chase opened the book, studying the maze drawing. Its lines matched the hedges, with a star at the center. We need to reach the middle, he said, tracing a path. But it's tricky. The book said shadows play, so maybe we watch for weird stuff. He stepped into the maze, the others close behind. The hedges loomed, their leaves rustling though no breeze stirred. Every turn felt like a choice, and Chase's tummy fluttered, remembering Yolo's warning about games. They wound deeper, the paths narrowing. Blaze led, his headlights glowing as the hedges blocked the sun. This place is creepier than a flat tire, he muttered, bumping a root. Yolo spun silently, his usual chatter gone, while Mickey hummed a nervous tune, clutching Chase's sleeve. At a fork, Chase paused, the book's stars seeming farther away. A shadow flickered on the ground, long and thin, like a finger pointing left. That way, he said, following it. But the path twisted back, looping to where they'd started. What? Chase frowned, checking the book. The drawing hadn't changed, but the shadow moved again, pointing right this time. Yolo's eyes wobbled. Told ya, kid. Mazes play tricks. Shadows are sneaky. He spun faster, like he was scared to stop. Chase's heart sank. They were lost, and the hum grew louder, buzzing in his bones. Then a gruff voice rumbled from ahead, deep and cranky. Who's tromping in my maze? It growled. A teddy bear, old and patched, shuffled into view, his button eyes squinted. He was big, almost Chase's size, with fur matted like he'd napped in dirt. Mickey squeaked, hiding behind Blaze. Oh no, a guard bear. His voice was barely a whisper. Blaze revved, puffing out his chest. Guard bear? Pfft, we're just passing through, Fuzzball. Let us by. His ladder rattled, but he didn't charge. The bear crossed his arms, his stuffing rustling. Name's Bernard. This maze is mine, and nobody passes without a story. Tell me one, kid, or you're stuck here till supper. He plopped onto the ground, blocking the path. Chase blinked, his mouth dry. A story? He wasn't good at making things up, not like his friend Sarah at school. But Bernard's eyes softened, like he really wanted to listen. Chase sat, the book in his lap, and thought of his toys. Okay, he said, his voice shaky. Once, there was a boy who loved his toys, but he got busy and forgot them. One day, they hid to teach him something important. He's still looking, telling stories to find them. Bernard leaned closer, his ears twitching. Mickey smiled, nodding, and Blaze's headlights glowed warm. Yolo spun quietly, listening. When Chase finished, Bernard sighed, his growl gone. Good one, kid. Reminds me of why toys stick around. He stood, pointing to a path. Center's that way. But watch the shadows. They listen. Chase's heart lifted. Thanks, Bernard. He led the others down the path, the hedges parting like they approved. At the center, a stone fountain bubbled, its water sparkling. A tiny box floated on it, locked with a star. Another clue. But as Chase reached for it, a twig snapped behind them, sharp and close. He spun, the book tight in his hands. The maze was still, but a low laugh, soft as leaves, drifted from the hedges, circling them. Episode 8, The Glowing Trail. Chase stood in the heart of the backyard maze, his sneakers rooted to the grass as the soft laugh faded into the hedges. The sound was gone, but it left his skin prickling, like someone was still hiding in Toy Town's leafy shadows. The stone fountain bubbled gently before him, its water catching the sunlight, and a tiny box floated on the surface, its star-shaped lock glinting like a promise. Mickey Mouse clung to his leg, his plush ears trembling, while Blaze, the fire truck, rolled close, his headlights scanning the maze's green walls. Yolo, the neon yo-yo, spun slowly, his googly eyes wide and wary. The book from the library, with its maze drawing, felt heavy under Chase's arm, and the embroidered cloth in his pocket whispered of secrets yet to unfold. "Chase, that laugh was spooky," Mickey whispered, his voice squeaky and small. "Gosh, what if it's following us?" Blaze revved his engine, puffing out a tiny cloud of imaginary smoke. "Let it try. I'll blast my siren and scare it back to next week." His ladder rattled, but he stayed near Chase, like he wasn't so sure. Yolo zipped closer, his string twitching. "Laughs don't just float around, kid. Someone's playing games, and they're good at it. Grab that box, Chase, and let's move before we get company." His grin was gone, replaced by a nervous wobble. Chase nodded, his red cap slipping as he leaned over the fountain. The water was cool, tickling his fingers as he snagged the box. It was light, carved with swirly patterns, and the star lock looked just like the one from the oak tree's key. He pulled the silver key from his pocket, its acorn etching catching the light. "Here goes," he said, sliding it into the lock. A soft click echoed, and the lid popped open, revealing a folded paper glowing faintly, like it held a piece of moonlight. "Whoa," Chase breathed, unfolding it. The paper showed a path winding from the maze to a pond at the edge of Toy Town, marked with a sparkly dot. Words curled beneath it, "Look where you play to find the way." His heart skipped. The pond was near his house, where he'd splashed with toys last summer. Had he missed something there? Mickey peered over his shoulder, his nose twitching. "Golly, the pond. I remember splashing there with a rubber ducky. Maybe the toys left a clue." His ears perked, but he glanced at the hedges, still jumpy. Blaze circled the fountain, his tires squishing in the grass. "A pond? Bet it's muddy and full of frogs. But if that's where the trail goes, I'm in." "What's the plan, Chase?" His headlights glowed, eager but cautious. Chase tucked the paper into his pocket with the cloth and note. The words, "Look where you play," felt personal, like the toys were talking to him. He thought of his old toys, forgotten in corners, and his chest tightened. "We head to the pond," he said, gripping the empty box. "But we stay sharp. That laugh means someone's close." Yolo spun ahead, his string looping a quick knot. "Pond's this way, kid. Follow the trickster." He zipped toward the maze's exit, dodging roots. Chase followed, Mickey hopping and Blaze rumbling, the fountain's bubble fading behind them. The hedges parted easily now, like they'd passed a test, and soon they were back at the rickety gate, its creak loud in the quiet yard. Toy Town's streets were sunny, with kids riding bikes and sprinklers hissing, but Chase's eyes darted to every shadow. The pond wasn't far, tucked behind a row of houses where willows drooped like green curtains. As they turned a corner, a faint glow flickered ahead, like fireflies dancing on the ground. Chase slowed, squinting. A trail of sparkly dust wound through the grass, leading toward the pond, just like the paper's path. "Look!" Chase pointed, his voice hushed. The dust shimmered, fading if he stared too long, but it felt alive, guiding them. "That's gotta be the clue." Mickey clapped his gloves, bouncing. "It's magic, Chase. Like a fairy path." His smile wobbled, but he stuck close, his shorts flapping. Blaze rolled over the dust, his tires glowing faintly. Magic, schmagic. Long as it gets us answers, I'm good. But I don't like how quiet it's gotten. His siren chirped softly, like he was nervous. Yolo spun beside the trail, his eyes glinting. Quiet's bad news, kid. Keep moving, and don't step off the glow. Stray too far, and you're lost. His voice was sharp, like he'd seen trails like this before. Chase led the way, the sparkly dust crunching under his sneakers. The trail curved through backyards, past swing sets and flower beds, until the pond sparkled ahead, its water rippling under willow branches. Frogs croaked, and dragonflies zipped, but the glow stopped at the edge, circling a flat stone. Chase knelt, brushing dirt off it. Carved into the stone were words, faint but clear, remember what you left behind. His throat tightened. Left behind? He thought of toys he hadn't played with in forever, like a wind-up boat he'd loved then forgotten in the attic. Guilt pinched him, sharp and sudden. I think the toys are mad, he whispered, looking at Mickey and Blaze. Because I stopped playing with some of them. Mickey's ears drooped, but he patted Chase's knee. Gosh, Chase, we all forget stuff sometimes. Maybe the clue's about fixing that. His voice was kind, like a hug. Blaze nudged the stone, his bumper gentle. Yeah, kid, don't beat yourself up. Toys are tough. Let's find that boat or whatever's next. His headlights softened, like he understood. Yolo rocked quietly, his string still. The pond's talking, kid. Look closer. He pointed with his string, and Chase saw it, a tiny toy boat bobbing in the reeds, its paint chipped but glowing like the trail. Chase waded in, the water cold through his sneakers, and grabbed it. The boat hummed in his hands, and a voice, soft as ripples, spoke from it. Up high, where dust gathers, the forgotten wait. Chase's eyes widened. The attic, he said, his voice barely a whisper. His attic was full of old boxes, toys he hadn't touched in years. The boat's glow faded, but its words stayed, heavy and true. Mickey clapped, splashing water. We're getting closer, Chase. The attic's gonna have answers. But his smile froze as a splash echoed across the pond, not from them. Chase spun, the boat tight in his hands. The willows were still, but ripples spread, like something had jumped in and out, fast and sneaky. Yolo's eyes wobbled. Time to go, kid. That wasn't a frog. His string snapped taut, like he was ready to bolt. Blaze's engine growled. Whoever's tailing us is getting bold. Let's hit that attic before they catch up. He rolled toward the path, his tires leaving wet marks. Chase nodded, his heart pounding. The boat, the attic, the ripples, it was all connected, but the toys were hiding more than clues. They were teaching him something, and he wasn't sure he was ready to learn it. As they left the pond, the sparkly trail flickered out, and a low hum, like laughter underwater, followed them, fading into the reeds. Episode 9, The Attic Shadows. Chase hurried through Toy Town's quiet streets, the toy boat cradled in his hands like a fragile secret. Its chipped paint felt warm, and its whispered words about dust and forgotten things echoed in his mind, pointing to his attic. The summer sun hung high, but the memory of that splash at the pond, sharp and sneaky, made his neck prickle. Someone was following them, hiding in ripples and shadows, and they were getting closer. Mickey Mouse hopped beside him, his plush ears flapping, while Blaze, the fire truck, rumbled ahead, his tires kicking up dust. Yolo, the neon yo-yo, spun lazily, his googly eyes scanning every corner. The book, cloth, and note in Chase's pockets felt heavier now, like they carried the weight of all his missing toys. "Chase, the attic's gonna be fun, right?" Mickey asked, his voice squeaky but hopeful. "Golly, maybe we'll find my old hula hoop up there." His smile wobbled, like he was trying to forget the pond. Blaze's siren chirped, his ladder rattling. "Fun? Attics are all cobwebs and creaky boards. Bet we'll find more than a hula hoop, Mickey." He glanced back at Chase, his headlights narrowing. "You okay, kid? You're quieter than a flat tire." Yolo zipped close, his string looping a quick knot. "He's thinking, Blaze. That boat's got him spooked. Attics are where toys go to sulk, Chase. Watch your step up there." His grin was half-hearted, like he knew more than he was saying. Chase nodded, adjusting his red cap. The boat's words stung, reminding him of toys he'd left behind, like a puzzle he'd tossed aside half-finished. "I'm okay," he said, his voice soft. "The attic's the next clue. We have to check it." But his tummy twisted, picturing the dark, dusty space above his house. He'd only been up there once, when Mom needed Christmas lights, and it felt like a place where secrets hid. They reached his street, where lawns buzzed with sprinklers and a cat napped on a porch. Chase's house stood at the end, its blue paint cheerful but its attic window small and sleepy, like an eye half closed. He pushed open the front door, the toy boat humming faintly in his hands. Mom was in the backyard, humming as she watered flowers, so Chase tiptoed upstairs, Mickey, Blaze, and Yolo following close. The attic door was at the end of the hall, its knob rusty and stiff. "Here goes," Chase whispered, turning it. The door creaked open, revealing a narrow staircase that smelled of wood and thyme. Dust danced in the sunlight slanting through the window above, and every step groaned, like the house was waking up grumpy. Mickey clutched Chase's sleeve, his ears drooping. "Gosh, it's spooky up here, Chase. Like a ghost's bedroom." His giggle was nervous, but he hopped forward, brave for his size. Blaze rolled slowly, his headlights cutting through the gloom. "Spooky? Pfft, it's just a big closet. Let's find that clue and roll out." But his engine hummed low, like he wasn't so sure. Yolo spun ahead, his glow faint in the dark. "Attics remember everything, kid. Look for something that hums like your boat." His string twitched, dodging a cobweb. At the top, the attic stretched wide, cluttered with boxes, old lamps, and a rocking horse with one eye missing. Shadows pooled in the corners, shifting as clouds passed outside. Chase set the boat on a trunk, its hum louder now, like a heartbeat. "Spread out," he said, his voice echoing. "Look for anything weird." They fanned out, Mickey poking boxes, Blaze nudging crates, and Yolo spinning through gaps. Chase lifted a sheet, coughing as dust flew up. Underneath was a toy chest, its lid carved with stars, just like the cloth's pattern. His heart skipped. "Guys, over here," he called, his fingers brushing the wood. It hummed, soft but strong, matching the boat's tune. Mickey bounced over, his gloves clapping. "That's it, Chase. It's all starry and glowy." His ears perked, but he froze as a shadow flicked across the chest, quick and wrong, like it moved without light. Blaze skidded close, his tires squeaking. "What was that?" Shadows don't dance like that. His headlights flared, chasing the dark, but it was gone. Yolo stopped spinning, his eyes wide. Told ya, kid. Attics are tricky. Open that chest, but don't blink. His voice was sharp, like he'd seen shadows move before. Chase's hands shook as he lifted the lid. Inside, a puzzle box sat alone, its surface etched with swirls that glowed faintly, like trapped fireflies. It spoke, its voice a whispery hum. "Solve me to see why we hide," it said, then clicked, revealing a grid of tiles that shifted when touched. Chase's breath caught. A puzzle. He loved puzzles, but this one felt alive, like it was watching him. "Let's try it," he said, sliding a tile. The grid hummed, tiles clicking into patterns, but each move made the shadows wiggle, curling closer. Mickey squeaked, hugging Blaze, while Yolo spun faster, his string snapping taut. Chase's fingers fumbled, his cap slipping as he worked. The tiles formed a picture, a toy town with missing pieces, like the toys themselves. With a final click, the box popped open, revealing a tiny scroll. Words glowed on it, "We hide to be remembered." Chase read it aloud, his voice trembling. The toys were hiding on purpose, just like Ellie said, to teach him something. His eyes stung, thinking of the boat, the chest, all the toys he'd forgotten. "I'm sorry," he whispered, not sure who he was talking to. Mickey patted his knee, his smile soft. "Golly, Chase, you're finding them now. That's what counts." His voice was warm, like a blanket. Blaze's headlights softened. "Yeah, kid, you're doing good. But what's next? That scroll's gotta point somewhere." He nudged the box, curious. Yolo leaned close, his glow dim. "It's pointing to the toys' plan, kid. They're close, but so's whoever's tailing us." He paused, his eyes flicking to the window. Chase unrolled the scroll further, but a creak stopped him, sharp and loud, from the attic stairs. Dust swirled, and a shadow stretched across the floor, long and thin, like a finger reaching. Mickey gasped, grabbing Chase's arm. Blaze's engine growled, low and ready. Yolo froze, his string limp. The shadow lingered, then shrank, as footsteps, soft but quick, pattered down the stairs, fading into silence. Chase's heart pounded, the scroll tight in his hands. The attic felt smaller now, its shadows too alive. The toys were hiding, but someone else was hunting, and they weren't playing fair. Whatever was on the scroll, it held the next step, and Chase wasn't sure he was ready for what it would show. Episode 10, The Toy Council. Chase sat frozen in the attic, the tiny scroll trembling in his hands. Its glowing words, "We hide to be remembered," felt like a whisper from every toy he'd ever forgotten, and the echo of those fleeing footsteps down the stairs made his heart thump. The attic's shadows clung to the walls, thicker now, as sunlight slanted through the dusty window of his Toy Town home. Mickey Mouse hugged his arm, his plush ears quivering, while Blaze, the fire truck, idled close, his headlights glaring at the staircase. Yolo, the neon yo-yo, spun slowly, his googly eyes fixed on the trapdoor, like he expected it to creak again. The puzzle box's hum had faded, but the air buzzed with secrets, and Chase's red cap felt heavy, like it carried the weight of the toy's mystery. "Chase, those steps were sneaky," Mickey whispered, his voice squeaky and small. "Gosh, what if they come back?" His button eyes flicked to the stairs, wide with worry. Blaze revved his engine, his tires squeaking on the wooden floor. "Let them try. I'll roll down those stairs and send them flying." His ladder rattled, but he stayed near Chase, his bravado softer than usual. Yolo zipped closer, his string looping nervously. Sneaky's bad news, kid. Someone doesn't want you reading that scroll. What's it say, Chase? Spill. His grin was gone, replaced by a twitchy frown. Chase unrolled the scroll further, his fingers shaky. The glowing words continued, seek the council where toys decide. Below was a tiny drawing of a door, no bigger than a book, etched with stars like the puzzle box. His breath caught. The Toy Council, he said, his voice low. Ellie mentioned it in the shop. They know why the toys are hiding. Mickey tilted his head, his gloves tapping his chin. A council? Golly, like a toy mayor or something? Where's that door, Chase? His ears perked, but he glanced at the trapdoor, still spooked. Blaze circled the puzzle box, his headlights scanning it. A secret door? Bet it's right here, kid. Attics are full of tricks. Let's tear this place apart. His siren chirped, eager but cautious. Chase stood, the scroll clutched tight. The attic's clutter, boxes, lamps, that one-eyed rocking horse, felt alive, watching him. Look for anything small, he said, his voice steadier than his knees. Like a door that fits this picture. He led the way, poking crates while Mickey hopped to a trunk, Blaze nudged a chair, and Yolo spun through cobwebs, his glow cutting the dark. Mickey squealed, pointing at a corner. Chase, over here. Behind a stack of boxes, a tiny door gleamed in the wall, carved with stars and barely big enough for Blaze to fit. Its handle was a shiny acorn, just like the key's etching. Chase's heart raced. This was it. Nice find, Mickey. Chase said, kneeling. He pushed the door, but it held firm. No lock, no keyhole, just stars that pulsed faintly, like they were waiting. He touched one, and the door hummed, soft and warm, then clicked open, revealing a tunnel lit by twinkly lights, like fireflies in a row. Blaze whistled, his ladder tilting. Whoa, kid, that's no broom closet. Looks like a toy highway. He rolled closer, peering in, but his engine hummed low, like he wasn't sure. Yolo spun fast, his eyes wobbling. That's council turf, Chase. Big shots in there, deciding stuff. Go careful, or they'll tie you in knots. His string snapped taut, like he wanted to bolt. Chase took a deep breath, the scroll's words looping in his head. The council knew why the toys hid, and he needed answers. We're going in, he said, crawling through the door. Mickey hopped after him, clutching his shorts, while Blaze rumbled and Yolo zipped, their glows mixing with the tunnel's lights. The path sloped down, its walls smooth and warm, like polished wood, and a soft hum filled the air, like a lullaby. The tunnel opened into a round chamber, its ceiling sparkling like a starry sky. Toys filled the room, sitting on cushions, a rag doll with braided yarn hair, a tin robot with clicky joints, a plush bunny with one ear flopped. At the center, on a high seat, a wooden puppet with painted cheeks nodded at Chase. Welcome, Chase, she said, her voice clear as a bell. I'm Miriam, council leader. You've come far. Chase stood, his cap slipping. You know me? He asked, his voice wobbling. Mickey hid behind him, Blaze's headlights flared, and Yolo spun silently, eyeing the toys. Miriam's strings twitched, her smile kind but firm. We know all who play. The toys hid to teach a lesson, Chase. You've forgotten many, left them in shadows. Her eyes flicked to the scroll in his hand. You're close to understanding, but not all wish you to succeed. Blaze rolled forward, his bumper puffed out. Hold up, lady. What's with the hide and seek? Our friends are gone, and someone's sneaking around, laughing in bushes. His siren blared, making the bunny flinch. Miriam raised a hand, calming the room. Some toys doubt the lesson. They stir trouble, fearing change. But you, Chase, must prove you've learned. She pointed to a table where a puzzle glowed, its pieces scattered like stars. Solve this to meet our elder. Only then will truths unfold. Mickey whispered, Golly, another puzzle? Chase, you're great at those. His ears perked, but he stayed close, nervous of the council's eyes. Chase stepped to the table, his heart pounding. The pieces hummed, each carved with a toy, a car, a doll, a boat like the one from the pond. He slid them together, his fingers shaky, forming a picture of Toy Town Square. But one piece, a teddy bear, wouldn't fit. He tried again, sweat beading under his cap, while the council watched, silent and still. Blaze couldn't take it. Enough staring, he shouted, zooming to the table. Let the kid work. His bumper hit the puzzle, and pieces flew, scattering across the floor. The toys gasped, the rag doll covering her eyes, and Miriam's strings tensed. Blaze! Chase hissed, scrambling to grab the pieces. The council murmured, their voices sharp, and the twinkly lights dimmed, like the room was annoyed. Mickey helped, his gloves fumbling, while Yolo spun in circles, muttering about bad moves. Miriam stood, her puppet joints clicking. Control your friend, Chase, or the way stays shut. Her tone was gentle but cold, like a teacher's warning. Chase's cheeks burned. I'm sorry, he said, gathering the last piece. He set the puzzle back, his hands steadier now, and slid the bear in, completing the square. The table glowed, and a hidden panel slid open, revealing a spiral stair leading down. Miriam nodded, her smile returning. Go, Chase. The elder waits. Chase clutched the scroll, his tummy twisting. The elder knew more, but Blaze's outburst had shaken him. He glanced at his friends, Mickey's hopeful eyes, Blaze's guilty headlights, Yolo's nervous spin. They'd come this far together, but the council's doubt and those sneaky footsteps lingered. As they started down the stair, a soft tap echoed behind, like a pebble rolling in the tunnel. Chase spun, but the chamber was empty, its stars dimming. Someone was still out there, closer than ever, and the elder's truth felt like a door that might not open. Episode 11, The Broken Bridge. Chase crept down the spiral stair from the Toy Council's chamber, his sneakers soft on the smooth wood. The tap he'd heard behind them, like a pebble rolling, still echoed in his mind, making his skin prickle. The starry glow of the chamber faded above, leaving only the faint twinkle of lights along the tunnel, like fireflies guiding the way. Mickey Mouse hopped close, his plush gloves clutching Chase's sleeve, while Blaze, the fire truck, rumbled quietly, his headlights dim with guilt after his outburst. Yolo, the neon yo-yo, spun ahead, his string twitching nervously. The scroll's words about toys hiding to be remembered weighed heavy in Chase's pocket, and his red cap felt tight, like it held all the questions he hadn't answered yet in Toy Town. Chase, you think the elder's nice? Mickey whispered, his voice squeaky and small. Golly, I hope they don't mind Blaze's little, oops. His ears drooped, glancing at the fire truck. Blaze's engine growled low, his tires slow. Yeah, I messed up back there. But those stuffy toys were staring like I broke their tea party. Sorry, Chase. His headlights flickered, like he meant it. Yolo zipped back, his googly eyes wobbling. Save the sorries, Blaze. That tap wasn't my imagination, kid. Someone's tailing us, and this tunnel's no picnic. Watch your step. His grin was gone, his spin jittery. Chase nodded, his heart thumping. The council's leader, Miriam, had sent them to the elder, but her warning about doubters stirred unease. Someone didn't want him solving this mystery, and those sneaky sounds proved it. Stay close, he said, his voice steadier than he felt. The elders got answers. We're almost there. But his tummy twisted, picturing another puzzle or trick waiting below. The stair ended at a wide cavern, its walls glittering with tiny stones, like a cave full of stars. A rickety bridge stretched across a shallow stream, its wooden planks warped and creaky, leading to a glowing archway on the other side. The elder had to be there. The bridge swayed gently, its ropes frayed, and the stream below sparkled, reflecting the cavern's light. Chase's breath caught. It looked magical, but one wrong step could send them splashing. Whoa, Blaze muttered, rolling to the edge. That thing's shakier than my axles after a mud race. You sure about this, Chase? His ladder tilted, nervous. Mickey gulped, his shorts sagging. Gosh, it's like a pirate plank. What if we fall, Chase? He hugged himself, eyeing the water. Yolo spun across the first plank, testing it. It's old, kid, but it holds. Gotta move light, though. No charging, Blaze. He winked, but his string trembled, like he wasn't so sure. Chase stepped forward, the toy boat and scroll safe in his pockets. The bridge creaked under his sneaker, swaying just enough to make his tummy flip. One at a time, he said, taking a deep breath. I'll go first. He moved slowly, arms out like a tightrope walker, the wood groaning with each step. The stream bubbled below, its ripples dancing, but something felt off, like the water was watching. Halfway across, a plank wobbled, and Chase froze, his cap slipping. Easy, he whispered to himself, inching forward. Mickey followed, hopping lightly, his ears flapping like wings. Blaze rolled next, his tires careful, muttering about rusty bolts. Yolo spun last, his string looping the ropes for balance. They were almost there, the archway glowing brighter, when a sharp crack split the air. Chase! Mickey squealed, as the plank under him buckled, tilting sideways. His gloves grabbed a rope, but his legs dangled, shorts flapping over the stream. Help! Chase spun, his heart lurching. Hold on, Mickey! He shuffled back, the bridge swaying wildly now, and grabbed Mickey's arm, pulling with all his might. Blaze revved, nudging a plank to steady it, while Yolo zipped to the rope, looping it tighter. Together, they hauled Mickey up, his button eyes huge as he flopped onto the bridge, panting. Golly, that was close! Mickey gasped, hugging Chase's leg. I thought I'd be a fish snack. His giggle was shaky, but he was safe. Blaze's headlights flared, scanning the bridge. That plank didn't break itself, kid. Something's fishy, and it ain't the stream. His engine growled, like he sensed trouble. Yolo spun fast, his eyes darting to the cavern's shadows. He's right, Chase. Someone's messing with us. Keep moving before this whole thing collapses. His string snapped taut, urging them on. Chase's knees shook, but he nodded, helping Mickey stand. The bridge held as they crossed the last planks, reaching the archway's glow. Beyond it, a small chamber opened, its floor covered in soft moss. A tiny toy bird, no bigger than a walnut, perched on a stone, its feathers carved from wood and shimmering like glass. Its eyes blinked, bright and kind, and it tilted its head at Chase. "You're Chase," it chirped, its voice like a flute. "I'm Luna, the elder's helper. The bridge tested you, and you held true. But doubt clouds your heart." It flapped to Chase's shoulder, light as a feather. "Speak it, child." Chase swallowed, his cheeks warm. Mickey's near fall replayed in his head, and Blaze outburst, and all the sneaky shadows. "I'm scared I'm not good enough," he admitted, his voice barely a whisper. "The toys hid because I forgot them. What if I mess this up?" Luna's wings brushed his cheek, soft and cool. "Doubt is heavy, but you carry it well. The elder waits beyond, but first, mend what broke." She pointed a wing to the bridge, where the cracked plank dangled, ropes fraying more each second. Mickey's ears perked. "Mend it? Golly, like fixing a toy. We can do that, Chase." He bounced, his fear fading. Blaze rolled close, his bumper gentle. "Yeah, kid, let's patch it up. I owe you one for the council mess." His headlights glowed warm, ready to help. Yolo spun to the stream's edge, eyeing the ropes. "Smart bird. Fix the bridge, Chase, and show them you're not quitting. I'll scout for trouble." His string looped a plank, but his eyes flicked to the shadows, wary. Chase knelt by the bridge, his hands shaky but sure. He tied the ropes tighter, using knots Dad taught him for camping, while Mickey held the plank steady and Blaze pushed it into place. Yolo spun back, nodding approval. The bridge stopped swaying, its creaks softer, like it trusted them again. Luna chirped, flitting to the archway. "Well done," she said. "Now, follow." Chase stood, his cap straighter now. The elder was close, and answers with them, but his doubt lingered, lightened by his friend's help. As they stepped toward the archway, a soft splash echoed from the stream, not a fish but deliberate, like a stone tossed to taunt. Chase spun, the toy boat humming in his pocket. The cavern was still, but a ripple spread, carrying a glint of something shiny, sinking fast. Someone wasn't just following, they were testing him, and the elder's chamber held the truth they didn't want him to find. Episode 12, The Old Toy's Tale. Chase stood at the glowing archway in the cavern, the toy boat humming softly in his pocket. The splash in the stream behind them, with its glinting shimmer sinking into the water, left his heart racing. Someone was out there, not just following but playing tricks, and they didn't want him reaching the elder. Mickey Mouse hopped close, his plush ears twitching, while Blaze, the fire truck, rolled beside him, his headlights scanning the repaired bridge. Yolo, the neon yo-yo, spun nervously, his string taut, and Luna, the tiny wooden bird, perched on Chase's shoulder, her carved feathers cool against his cheek. The air in Toy Town's secret tunnels felt thick, like it held secrets too big to breathe, and Chase's red cap tilted as he peered into the archway's light. "Chase, that splash wasn't nice," Mickey whispered, his voice squeaky and small. "Gosh, what if they're waiting for us?" His button eyes flicked to the stream, wide with worry. Blaze's engine growled, his tires firm. "Let them wait. I'm ready to roll through anything sneaky. Let on, Chase, we're right behind ya." His ladder steadied, like he'd shaken off his earlier guilt. Yolo zipped ahead, his googly eyes glinting. "Sneaky's their game, kid, but we're close to the elder. Stay sharp, or we'll get spun in circles. His grin flickered, half brave, half scared. Luna flapped her wings, her flute-like voice soft. Fear not, Chase. The elder's truth is kind, but it asks courage. Step through. She flitted into the archway, her glow blending with its light. Chase took a deep breath, the scroll's words about toys hiding to be remembered looping in his mind. The elder knew why, and he needed to understand before the tricks got worse. He stepped forward, the archway's warmth wrapping around him like a hug. Mickey hopped after, clutching his shorts, while Blaze rumbled and Yolo spun, their steps echoing in the tunnel beyond. The path opened into a cozy chamber, its walls woven with roots that pulsed like heartbeats. A soft carpet of moss cushioned the floor, and firefly lanterns hung from vines, casting a golden glow. At the center sat an old teddy bear, his fur faded to a soft brown, with patches sewn in colorful stitches. His button eyes twinkled, kind but heavy, like he'd seen every game ever played. He leaned on a cane carved with stars, and when he smiled, the room felt warmer. "Welcome, Chase," he said, his voice deep and rumbly, like a grandpa's story. "I'm Oliver, the elder. You followed clues well, but your heart's still learning." He nodded at Mickey, Blaze, and Yolo, who stood quietly, even Blaze's engine hushed. Chase's throat tightened, his cap slipping. "You know why the toys hid?" he asked, his voice wobbly. "Ellie and Miriam said it's a lesson, but I don't get it." He pulled out the toy boat, its chipped paint glowing faintly, and set it before Oliver. Oliver's cane tapped the moss, his eyes soft. "Toys live for love, Chase. Play is our air, but when it fades, we dim. Your toys hid to remind you, to see them, not just play, but cherish." He reached out, touching the boat, and it hummed louder, like it agreed. "You've forgotten many, left them in dust. They want you back, but some fear you won't change." Mickey's ears drooped, his gloves twisting. Golly, Chase didn't mean to forget. He's trying so hard. He hopped closer, his voice earnest, making Oliver smile. Blaze rolled forward, his headlights low. "Yeah, cut him some slack, Oliver. Kid's been digging through mazes and attics for us. That's gotta count." His bumper nudged Chase gently, loyal as ever. Yolo spun slowly, his string limp. "He's got a point, old bear." Chase is here, facing creepy shadows and all. What's the next step? His eyes flicked to the roots, like he sensed trouble brewing. Oliver leaned back, his patches rustling. "It counts, friends. But lessons need proving." He pointed to a wooden chest by the wall, its lid carved with a town like the puzzle's picture. "Open it, Chase. Inside is your promise. Show us your heart." Chase's hands shook as he knelt by the chest. The boat's hum, the scroll's words, Oliver's story, they all pointed here. He lifted the lid, expecting another puzzle, but found a mirror, small and round, its frame etched with toys. His reflection stared back, cap crooked, eyes wide, and for a moment, he saw himself younger, laughing with toys now lost in boxes. "I promise," he whispered, his voice cracking. "I'll remember. I'll play and care, not just leave you." The mirror glowed, soft and warm, and the chest hummed, like it heard. Oliver nodded, his cane tapping. "Good, Chase. Take the mirror. It shows truth. Carry it to the town square at dusk. There, the toys will test you." He paused, his eyes narrowing. "But beware. Not all trust your promise. Some stir discord. Chase clutched the mirror, his chest tight. The square at dusk. That was hours away, and the sneaky splashes, laughs, and shadows meant trouble wasn't far. "I'll do it," he said, standing taller. "For all the toys." Mickey clapped, his shorts bouncing. "We're with ya, Chase. Dusk'll be a breeze." But his ears twitched, like he heard something outside. Blaze's headlights flared. "Test or no test, we've got this. Right, kid?" He bumped Chase's sneaker, his engine steady now. YOLO spun to the chamber's exit, a tunnel leading up. "Nice speech, kid, but dusk is a while off. Let's move before our shadow friend gets bold." His string looped a vine, urging them on. Oliver raised a paw, his voice low. "One more thing, Chase. The sky grows heavy. A storm's coming, and it carries choices. Hold fast." His eyes held Chase's, like he saw more than he said. Chase nodded, slipping the mirror into his pocket with the boat and scroll. "A storm?" His tummy flipped, but Oliver's warmth gave him courage. He led the way to the tunnel, Luna flitting above, guiding them. The roots pulsed faster now, like the cavern was nervous. They climbed, the air growing cooler, until they emerged in Chase's backyard, the hill glowing under a cloudy sky. Mickey gasped, pointing. "Chase, look!" Dark clouds rolled in, heavy and gray, their edges flickering with lightning. The air smelled of rain, sharp and close. Blaze's tires sank in the grass. "Great! A storm, just like Oliver said. Bet our sneaky pal loves this weather." His siren chirped, half joking, half worried. YOLO spun toward the house, his glow dim. "Storms hide tricks, kid. Get to the square when it's time, but watch the rain. It's no friend today." His eyes flicked to the clouds, uneasy. Chase's heart pounded, the mirror heavy in his pocket. Dusk felt far, and the storm closer, its rumble like a warning. As they stepped toward the house, a gust of wind tore through, carrying a single leaf that landed at Chase's feet. It wasn't ordinary, it sparkled, like the pond's trail, and curled into a word, "Hurry." Someone, or something, was pushing them, and the square at dusk held more than a test. Episode 13, The Storm's Secret. Chase stood in his backyard in Toy Town, the sparkling leaf at his feet curling with its single word, "Hurry." The air buzzed with the coming storm, heavy and sharp, as dark clouds churned above, their edges flickering with lightning. His red cap tilted in the gusty wind, and the mirror in his pocket, given by Oliver the Elder, felt warm, like it knew the dusk test in the town square was near. Mickey Mouse clutched his sleeve, his plush ears flapping wildly, while Blaze, the fire truck, rolled close, his headlights cutting through the graying light. YOLO, the neon yo-yo, spun nervously, his string snapping in the breeze. The toy boat and scroll weighed heavy in Chase's pajamas, and that leaf, glowing like the pond's trail, felt like a nudge from the toys, or a warning from whoever kept following them. "Chase, that leaf's magic!" Mickey squeaked, his voice nearly lost in the wind. "Golly, it's telling us to run to the square, right?" His button eyes were huge, darting to the clouds. Blaze's engine growled, his tires sinking in the grass. "Magic or not, this storm's no joke. We gotta move, kid, before we're swimming to that test." His ladder rattled, but he nudged Chase's sneaker, steady as ever. YOLO zipped around the leaf, his googly eyes glinting. "Hurry's right, Chase. Storms hide sneaky types, and our shadow friends probably dancing in this mess. Squares that way, let's spin. His grin was shaky, like he sensed trouble brewing. Chase nodded, his heart thumping. Oliver's words about a storm carrying choices echoed, and the mirror's promise to show truth felt bigger now. He scooped up the leaf, its glow warm in his palm, and tucked it with the scroll. To the square, he said, his voice firm despite the wind. But we stick together. No getting lost. He led the way, sprinting past the hill where they'd found Blaze, the grass slick under his sneakers. The storm grew louder, thunder rumbling like a giant's yawn. Toy Town's streets were empty, kids and bikes gone, shutters banging in the wind. Rain hadn't started, but the air smelled wet, like a promise about to break. Chase's cap flew off, and he grabbed it, stuffing it in his pocket with the mirror. Mickey hopped fast, his shorts soaked from puddles, while Blaze zoomed, dodging twigs, and Yolo spun ahead, his glow a beacon in the gloom. They reached the square, its cobblestones shiny under flickering streetlights. Tinker's toys stood dark, the library's windows shuttered, but the big oak in the center creaked, its branches swaying like they knew something. Chase slowed, catching his breath. "It's not dusk yet," he said, checking the sky. The clouds hid the sun, making time tricky, but the mirror hummed, like it was ready. Mickey pointed, his gloves trembling. "Chase, look!" Scattered across the square were tiny clues, a marble by the fountain, a ribbon on a bench, a button near the oak. They sparkled, like the leaf, and seemed to call, like toys waiting to be found. Blaze's headlights scanned them. "What's this, a treasure hunt?" "Bet these are part of the test, kid. Grab them quick." His siren chirped, excited but wary. Yolo spun to the marble, his string nudging it. "Smart, Blaze, but storms don't play fair. These clues are bait, Chase. Pick careful, or we're in for a spin." His eyes flicked to the shadows, where raindrops started pattering. Chase's tummy twisted. The mirror, the clues, the storm, it was all connected, but Oliver's warning about doubters made him pause. He knelt by the marble, its blue swirls glowing faintly. As he touched it, a giggle rippled through the air, soft but sharp, like the one in the maze. He froze, his hand hovering. "Did you hear that?" he whispered, glancing at his friends. Mickey shivered, hugging himself. "Gosh, it's them again. The sneaky ones." His ears drooped, wet from the drizzle starting to fall. Blaze rolled close, his engine loud. "Laugh all they want, I'm not scared. Keep going, Chase, we'll watch your back." But his headlights flickered, like he wasn't so sure. Yolo spun faster, his glow dimming in the rain. "That giggle's trouble, kid. Grab what you can and move. The square's no safe spot now." His string lashed a puddle, nervous. Chase picked up the marble, its hum matching the mirrors. He ran to the ribbon, then the button, each glowing brighter as he tucked them in his pocket. The square felt alive, its cobblestones buzzing, but the giggles grew, circling like wind. He stopped by the oak, where a final clue, a tiny key, hung from a branch, sparkling like the leaf. He reached for it, but thunder cracked, and rain poured, soaking his pajamas. "Chase, hurry!" Mickey squealed, splashing through puddles. Lightning flashed, painting the square white, and in that moment, Chase saw them, shadowy shapes darting between shops, quick and sly, their eyes glinting like coins. They vanished as the light faded, but the key's glow pulsed, urging him on. Chase grabbed it, his fingers slippery. The key felt warm, like the boat, and whispered, "Find the others." His eyes widened. Other kids? He spun, rain dripping down his face, and saw lights in windows, houses where friends lived, kids who'd lost toys too. "Guys," he said, his voice loud over the storm, "we need help. The toys aren't just mine. Everyone's gotta learn this lesson." Blaze's tires spun, splashing water. "Other kids? That's a plan, kid. Let's round them up." His siren blared, bold despite the rain. Mickey clapped, his shorts sagging. "Golly, a toy team. I bet Sarah and Jacob missed their toys too." He bounced, rain forgotten, his hope contagious. YOLO spun to a house, his glow steady now. "Smart move, Chase. More kids, less chance those shadows mess with us. Knock on doors, but don't dawdle, dusk's close." His string pointed, guiding them. Chase ran to Sarah's house, banging the knocker. She opened the door, her braid wet, eyes wide. "Chase? What's wrong?" He spilled the story, missing toys, clues, the storm. Sarah gasped, nodding. "My doll's gone. I'm in." She grabbed a jacket, joining them. Jacob was next, his skateboard under his arm, his toy robot missing too. Soon, 5 kids stood in the square, clutching marbles and ribbons they'd found, their faces lit with purpose despite the rain. The key hummed louder, and Chase held it up, its glow cutting the storm. "We'll show the toys we care," he shouted, the others cheering. But as lightning flashed again, a shape moved by the oak, tall and thin, not a kid or toy, but something else, slipping into the rain. The giggles stopped, replaced by a low hum, like the square itself was waiting. Episode 14, The Toy Parade. Chase stood in the rain-soaked square of Toy Town, the tiny key glowing in his hand like a star caught in the storm. Its whispered words, "Find the others," still hummed in his ears, and the 5 kids around him, Sarah, Jacob, and their friends, clutched their own sparkling clues, eyes wide with determination. The storm roared, lightning flashing across the dark clouds, but the shadowy shape by the oak tree, tall and thin, had vanished into the rain, leaving only a shiver down Chase's spine. Mickey Mouse splashed in a puddle, his plush ears soggy, while Blaze, the fire truck, rolled close, his headlights blurry in the downpour. YOLO, the neon yo-yo, spun under a shop awning, his glow flickering like he sensed trouble. The mirror in Chase's pocket pulsed, warm and heavy, urging him toward the dusk test Oliver had promised. "Chase, that shadow wasn't a kid," Mickey squeaked, his voice nearly drowned by thunder. "Golly, what if it's mad we got everybody?" His shorts sagged, but he stayed near, brave despite the storm. Blaze's engine growled, his tires gripping the wet cobblestones. "Mad or not, we're a team now. Let's finish this test, kid, and show those toys we mean business." His siren chirped, bold even in the rain. YOLO zipped closer, his string splashing. "Team's great, Chase, but that shape's no fan of yours. The square's humming, dusk's here. Hold that key tight." His googly eyes scanned the oak, wary and sharp. Sarah tugged her braid, rain dripping off her jacket. "What's the key do, Chase?" "My marble's glowing like crazy." She held it up, its swirls pulsing, matching the key's light. Chase's heart raced, the mirror's warmth spreading through him. The square felt alive, its cobblestones buzzing under his sneakers, like they knew the test was starting. Oliver said to come at dusk, he said, his voice loud over the storm. The key and your clues, they're part of it. Let's stand by the oak and see what happens. He led the way, rain soaking his pajamas, the kids following with their marbles, ribbons, and buttons, all glowing brighter now. The oak loomed, its branches swaying like they were dancing with the wind. Chase held up the key, its glow cutting through the gray, and the others raised their clues, forming a circle around the tree. Thunder rumbled, softer now, and the rain eased to a drizzle, like the storm was listening. A hum rose from the ground, low and sparkly, like the pond's trail or the attic's chest. Chase's breath caught as lights flickered in the square, not lightning, but tiny orbs, bobbing like fireflies, weaving between shops and benches. "Whoa," Jacob whispered, his skateboard tucked under his arm. "Are those toys?" His button glowed, pulsing with the orbs. Before Chase could answer, the orbs swirled faster, and shapes formed, toys, hundreds of them, stepping from the shadows. Dolls with yarn hair, cars with shiny wheels, bears with patched fur, all glowing like the clues. They marched in a parade, silent but joyful, circling the oak. Mickey clapped, splashing water. "Golly, it's a toy parade. They're back, Chase." His ears bounced, his fear gone. Blaze's headlights flared, following a tiny truck like him. "Look at 'em go. Bet they've been planning this all along." His engine purred, proud and happy. Yolo spun to the parade's edge, his string taut. "Pretty, but don't get comfy, kid. This is the test. Toys don't march for fun, they're watching." His eyes locked on a rag doll, her glow dimmer, like she wasn't sure. Chase's tummy flipped. The mirror hummed louder, and he pulled it out, its frame etched with toys that matched the parade. The kids gasped as the parade stopped, the toys turning to face them, eyes glinting with hope and doubt. A plush bunny stepped forward, her floppy ears swinging. "Chase," she said, her voice soft as cotton. "You found us, but do you know why we hid?" Chase swallowed, the mirror reflecting his wet face. "You hid to be remembered," he said, his voice steady despite the drizzle. "I forgot some of you, left you in boxes. I'm sorry. I promised to play and care, not just toss you aside." His cheeks warmed, but he meant every word. Sarah nodded, holding her marble. "Me too," she said. "I missed my doll, but I didn't show it. I'll do better." Jacob and the others chimed in, their clues glowing brighter, like the toys heard. The bunny's eyes softened, but she pointed to the mirror. "Show us," she said. "Truth lives there." The parade hummed, waiting, and Chase lifted the mirror, his hands shaky. It glowed, showing not just his face but moments, him laughing with Mickey, racing Blaze, even hugging old toys he'd forgotten. The kids saw theirs too, smiles and games they'd left behind. The toys cheered, a soft, sparkly sound, but one stayed back, a tin robot, his joints rusty, his glow faint. "I doubt you," he creaked, his voice sharp. "Kids forget. You'll leave us again." He stepped closer, and the parade's hum faltered, like his words carried weight. Mickey gasped, his gloves balling. "That's not fair. Chase is trying." He hopped forward, loyal as ever. Blaze revved, his bumper out. "Yeah, back off, tin can. We're here, aren't we?" His headlights glared, protective but tense. Yolo spun to Chase's side, his string loose. "He's got a point, kid. Doubters like him stir trouble. Answer smart, or this parade's done. His eyes flicked to the robot, wary. Chase's heart sank, the robot's doubt echoing his own fears. He looked at the mirror, seeing his younger self, happy with toys. I messed up, he said, facing the robot. But I'm learning. I won't forget again, not you, not any toy. Let me prove it. His voice cracked, but he stood tall, the key glowing in his other hand. The robot paused, his creaks slowing, then nodded, stepping back. The parade's hum grew, joyful again, and the bunny smiled. You've passed, Chase, she said. But one test remains. Build what's broken, and we'll return. She pointed to a pile of wooden pieces by the oak, like a toy house, scattered and chipped. Chase's eyes widened. Another puzzle. But as he stepped toward it, a gust tore through the square, sharp and cold, scattering the pieces further. The toys gasped, their glows dimming, and a laugh, low and sly, rolled from the shadows by the shop. The robot's eyes glinted, not at Chase but at the darkness, like he knew who hid there. Someone wasn't done testing them, and the final piece wasn't in place. Episode 15, The Last Puzzle. Chase knelt by the oak tree in Toy Town Square, raindrops pattering on his soaked pajamas. The wooden pieces of the toy house lay scattered around him, blown apart by that cold gust, their chipped edges glinting in the fading storm's light. The sly laugh from the shadows still echoed in his ears, sharp and taunting, like it wanted him to fail. The toy parade stood silent, their glows dim, watching him with hope and worry. Mickey Mouse splashed nearby, his plush ears drooping, while Blaze, the fire truck, rolled close, his headlights steady. Yolo, the neon yo-yo, spun nervously, his string catching twigs. Sarah, Jacob, and the other kids clutched their glowing clues, eyes wide as the bunny's words hung heavy, build what's broken, and the toys would return. Chase's red cap was stuffed in his pocket with the mirror, its truth humming softly, but one toy was still missing, and he felt it like a hole in his heart. Chase, we can fix this house, right? Mickey squeaked, his voice wobbly but brave. Golly, it's like a big puzzle, and you're the best at those. His shorts sagged, wet from the drizzle. Blaze's engine purred, his tires nudging a plank. Yeah, kid, piece it together and show that laughing sneak who's boss. We're right here. His siren chirped, warm and loyal. Yolo zipped to a chipped roof tile, his googly eyes glinting. Puzzles no joke, Chase. That laugh came from someone who wants this test flunked. Build fast, or they'll spin us again. His string twitched, scanning the dark shops. Sarah knelt beside Chase, her braid dripping. My doll would love this house, she said, picking up a wall piece. Let's do it together, Chase. Jacob nodded, grabbing a beam, his skateboard propped nearby. Chase's throat tightened, the bunny's gaze soft but waiting. The mirror's glow in his pocket reminded him of his promise, to remember every toy, not just play but cherish. He nodded, his hands steady despite the chill. Okay, let's build, he said, his voice clear over the fading rain. He grabbed a base piece, its wood warm, like it wanted to help. The kids spread out, passing planks and tiles, their clues pulsing like tiny stars. The pieces fit like a dream, slots clicking smoothly, but some were missing, blown far by the gust. Chase crawled under the oak, finding a door wedged in roots. Sarah spotted a window by the fountain, its glass etched with a toy horse. Jacob tugged a chimney from a puddle, splashing Mickey, who giggled despite his shivers. Blaze rolled pieces closer, his bumper gentle, while Yolo looped his string to lift tiles, his spin steadier now. The house grew, walls rising, a roof sloping, but the giggles returned, soft at first, circling the square like whispers. "Chase, they're back," Mickey whispered, his gloves trembling as he held a shutter. "Those sneaky laughs." His ears flicked, catching the sound from the library's shadow. Blaze's headlights flared, scanning the dark. "Let them giggle. We're almost done, kid, keep going." But his engine revved louder, like he sensed the toy's doubt growing. Yolo spun to Chase, his glow dim. "They're testing your focus, Chase. One piece left, and it's not here. Look sharp, or that laugh wins." His string pointed to the oak, where a final slot gaped in the house's roof. Chase's heart sank, his eyes darting. The house was nearly whole, a cozy toy home glowing faintly, but the missing piece meant everything. He clutched the mirror, its warmth urging him to think. The parade's eyes followed him, hopeful but tense, and the tin robot's doubt echoed, "Kids forget." He shook it off, remembering the boat, the scroll, every clue that brought him here. "It's gotta be close," he muttered, circling the oak. His sneaker hit something hard, a tiny ridge in the dirt, sparkling like the leaf. He dug, fingers muddy, and pulled out a roof cap, carved with a star. "Got it!" he shouted, scrambling back. The laughs grew louder, bouncing off the cobblestones, but Chase climbed the house, balancing on its walls. He slid the cap in, and the house hummed, its glow bursting bright, like a lantern waking up. The parade cheered, a sparkly wave, and toys stepped closer, their light warm. Dolls hugged Sarah, cars circled Jacob, bears nodded at the kids, their doubt fading. The bunny hopped forward, her floppy ear swinging. "You built our home, Chase," she said, her voice cotton soft. "You've shown your heart. We'll return, but one is still lost." Her eyes flicked to the mirror, then the shops, where the laughs had stopped. Mickey gasped, his gloves balling. "One's missing. Golly, who?" He looked at Chase, his ears drooping, like he feared it was him. Blaze rolled to the house, his bumper proud. "We built it, kid, but missing one? That's not right. Where's the last toy?" His headlights scanned the parade, confused. Yolo spun slowly, his string loose. "She's right, Chase. The parade's big, but it's short one glow. Check that mirror, it knows." His eyes locked on the dark, like he expected the laugh to return. Chase pulled out the mirror, its frame pulsing. His reflection showed the square, the toys, his friends, but one corner was empty, like a shadow where a toy should be. His chest ached, thinking of every toy he'd found, Mickey, Blaze, the boat, the parade. Who was left? He turned to the bunny, his voice small. "How do I find them?" The bunny pointed to his pocket, where the key still glowed. "Look where you began," she said. "The answer's home." Her smile was kind, but her eyes held a spark, like she knew more. Sarah grabbed Chase's arm, her marble shining. "Your house, Chase. Maybe it's there." The kids nodded, their clues dimming, like their job was done. Chase's heart leapt. Home. The key, the mirror, the boat, they all started in his room. He looked at Mickey and Blaze, their glow strong, and Yolo, his spin calm now. "Let's go," he said, leading them from the square. The storm had passed, stars peeking through clouds, but as they left, a soft clink sounded by the fountain, like metal on stone. Chase spun, the mirror tight in his hand. The square was empty, toys fading into shops, but a single marble rolled slowly, stopping at his feet, its swirl dark, not glowing. Someone had left it, and they weren't cheering. Episode 16, The Forgotten Friend. Chase stood in Toy Town Square, the dark marble at his feet glinting dully under the starry sky. Its lack of glow felt wrong, like a frown among the sparkly clues he and the other kids had found. The bunny's words echoed, "Look where you began," and his house called him, tugging at his heart where the missing toy waited. The storm had cleared, leaving puddles that reflected the oak tree's branches, but that clink by the fountain lingered, a reminder of someone watching, not cheering. Mickey Mouse hopped close, his plush ears still damp, while Blaze, the fire truck, rolled beside him, his headlights bright. Yolo, the neon yo-yo, spun slowly, his string catching starlight. Sarah and Jacob waved goodbye, their toys found, leaving Chase with his mirror, key, and boat, each humming softly in his pockets. "Chase, that marble's creepy," Mickey squeaked, his voice small but curious. "Golly, why's it not shiny like the others?" His shorts dripped, but his eyes stayed on Chase, trusting. Blaze's engine purred, nudging the marble. "Creepy or not, it's a clue, kid. The bunny said home, so let's roll to your place and find that last toy." His ladder bobbed, eager to finish. Yolo zipped around the marble, his googly eyes narrow. "It's a warning, Chase. Someone dropped it to spook you. Your house is next, but don't trust every shadow there." His grin flickered, wary but sharp. Chase's tummy twisted, the mirror's warmth steadying him. The bunny's hint felt clear, his room, where the empty toy box started this adventure. He picked up the dark marble, its chill biting his fingers, and tucked it with the glowing key. "Home," he said, his voice firm despite the night's chill. "We'll find them." He led the way, sneakers splashing through puddles, Mickey hopping, Blaze rumbling, and Yolo spinning, their glows lighting the quiet streets. Toy Town slept, its houses dark, only crickets chirping. Chase's house stood at the street's end, its blue paint soft under starlight, the attic window a sleepy wink. He pushed the door open, the familiar creak loud in the silence. Mom was asleep, the kitchen clock ticking softly, so he tiptoed upstairs, his friends close. His bedroom door was ajar, moonlight spilling across the floor, and the toy box sat in the corner, its lid still shut, like it hadn't moved since morning. Mickey bounced to it, his gloves tapping the wood. "Golly, Chase, maybe the toy's inside now. Let's peek." His ears perked, hopeful but nervous. Blaze rolled over, his headlights scanning. "If it's in there, it's playing hide-and-seek better than me. Open it, kid, but watch for tricks." His siren chirped low, cautious. Yolo spun to the window, his string taut. "Tricks are everywhere, Chase. That marble's got a vibe, and it's not cozy. Check the box, but keep one eye open." His glow dimmed, like he sensed a shadow nearby. Chase knelt by the toy box, his heart thumping. The mirror hummed in his pocket, its truth ready to show something. He lifted the lid, expecting emptiness, but a faint glow pulsed inside, coming from a crack in the wood at the bottom. "Guys, look," he whispered, brushing dust away. The crack widened under his touch, revealing a hidden panel, etched with a tiny lock shaped like a star. "The key!" Chase pulled it from his pocket, its glow matching the panels. He slid it in, and with a soft click, the panel popped open, showing a velvet pouch tied with a ribbon. His hands shook as he untied it, spilling out a small, worn toy, a rubber dinosaur, green and scuffed, with one eye painted crooked. Its smile was lopsided, but it glowed faintly, like it remembered him. "Dino," Chase breathed, his eyes stinging. He loved this toy years ago, chasing it through mud puddles, then left it in a drawer, forgotten for newer things. "I'm so sorry." He hugged it, its rubber cool but warming fast, like it forgave him. Mickey clapped, his ears bouncing. "Golly, you found him, Chase. Dino's the last one." His voice was bright, but he glanced at the window, where a breeze stirred the curtains. Blaze's headlights softened, nudging Dino gently. "Nice to meet ya, little guy." "Kid, you did it, every toy's accounted for." His engine purred, proud but curious, like he sensed more coming. Yolo spun closer, his string loose. "Not so fast, Blaze. Dino's here, but that marble's still dark. Something's off, Chase. Check the mirror, it's got one more truth." His eyes flicked to the door, wary. Chase pulled out the mirror, its frame pulsing. His reflection showed his room, Mickey, Blaze, Yolo, and Dino, all glowing, but a corner flickered, like a shadow moving wrong. He turned, holding the mirror up, and gasped. In its glass, a toy stood by the door, not glowing, but dull, like the marble. A tin soldier, his paint chipped, his bayonet bent, his eyes narrow with doubt. He hadn't been in the parade, and his stare felt heavy, like he carried every forgotten moment. "You forgot me too," the soldier creaked, his voice rusty. "Promises break, Chase. Why should I trust you?" He stepped closer, the floor creaking, and the dark marble in Chase's pocket chilled, like it belonged to him. Mickey squeaked, hiding behind Blaze. "Oh no, he's the sneaky one. Chase, he's been laughing at us." His gloves trembled, but he stayed put. Blaze's engine roared, his bumper out. "Back off, Tin Man. Chase found Dino, and he's keeping his word." His headlights glared, protective and fierce. Yolo spun to Chase's side, his glow steady. "He's the doubter, kid. Been stirring trouble, splashes, laughs, all him. Talk him down, or he'll dim everything." His string looped the mirror, urging Chase on. Chase's heart pounded, the soldier's words cutting deep. He'd forgotten so many toys, but he'd learned, hadn't he? He held Dino tighter, the mirror steady in his other hand. "I messed up," he said, his voice soft but clear. "I left you in shadows, and I'm sorry. But I'm here now, and I won't forget again. Come back, please. Be part of my promise." The soldier paused, his bayonet lowering. The mirror glowed brighter, showing Chase playing, not just with Dino but with cars, dolls, even a soldier like him, all loved. The tin soldier's eyes softened, his creak slower. "You mean it," he said, not a question. He stepped forward, his paint flickering, then glowing, faint but growing. The dark marble warmed, its swirl sparkling at last. The room hummed, and a soft light spilled from the toy box, like every toy was cheering. Mickey hugged Chase's leg, Blaze revved happily, and Yolo spun a fancy loop, his grin back. But as Chase smiled, a shadow flicked past the window, quick and tall, not a toy but something else, gone before he could blink. The soldier's glow wavered, like he'd seen it too, and Chase's heart skipped. The toys were back, but something wasn't done playing. Thank you for listening to this incredible story. Our team would really appreciate it if you give us a like and comment. Your opinion is very important to us. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed. See you soon.